I keep my goals to myself, cause whenever I share it with folks, they get a look upon their face and their memory floats to a time where their goals and the stars ain't...
What's good? It's your boy JayThat'sMe. We're going to get into NXT from February the 3rd, 2026. It was a pretty okay show for the most part. And we are going to talk about the predictions for NXT Vengeance Day, which is going to be taking place in the Performance Center, which is fine. And thankfully, NXT is still with Peacock, which is good. So I'm guessing they now have some extension with Peacock. Because I thought that Peacock was going to be done with NXT come February, but I guess they're going to give them an extension, I guess. I don't know. But NXT overall was okay, basically. It was all right. So we kicked the show off with Myles Borne. He basically put the fans over. He said he wanted his promo to be about thanking the fans and everything else. But he really was dedicating this to his haters, saying that this may be out of character for him, but Ethan Page taught him that he lacked a killer instinct. But all he did was pour gasoline on a fire that was lit inside of him, and Ethan Page unleashed a demon. And if you push Myles Borne, he's going to push right back. He said that he ain't no damn Boy Scout, and he ain't no damn angel, for sure. He's going to keep this title, but if he has to show that side of him, he will. So Ethan Page comes out. He says that Myles Borne got lucky. He said that anyone can have a good night. He's had a bad night, but he's had a million great nights. He said that from night one, when he stepped into this place, he became the quickest NXT champion in company history, then became AAA mixed tag team champions, then broke the records as North American champion, longest amount of days, and most successful title defenses. And then he says, if Myles, if there's anyone in that locker room that deserves a rematch, it's him. It's the guy who's carried the brand for 2 straight years. So, Myles Borne wants to fight Ethan Page. So Ethan Page wants the match tonight. So Robert Stone comes out. He basically wants guys, the guys to go to the back and get their gear on. But neither competitor want to do that. They wanted to just duke it out right here and there. And so Robert Stone just calls for a referee to come out. And we start the show off with the first match of the night. Myles Borne retains the North American Championship against Ethan Page. He wins via the Born Again. So this is good, really good stuff. Really good way to start the show. Match was okay. We knew that Ethan Page was going to lose anyway. I have a feeling, I think they're going to end up calling Ethan Page up probably immediately after Stand and Deliver. Stand and Deliver is going to be on April 4th. So a couple of weeks before WrestleMania 42. So that's cool. At least NXT can stand on its own and absorb the spotlight by itself, which is great. So NXT has a night all to its own, which is excellent. I like that. But Myles Borne retaining is the right decision. Who dethrones Myles Borne, I have no idea. I really couldn't tell you. Moving on from that, so Sarah Schreiber, she wanted to conduct an interview with Zaria in the parking lot. So she wanted to know why Zaria betrayed Ruca last week. Zaria says if Sarah really needs to ask the question, she doesn't get it. So Dark State, they're yelling like maniacs in the background. Robert Stone tells Dark State that Tony D'Angelo hasn't arrived yet, and they can't do this in the parking lot. Cutler James says they're getting their hands on Tony D'Angelo one way or another. So Robert Stone says he's fine with that, but they need to sell this business inside. So Tony D, he shows up to the PC with a crowbar. Cool shit there. I like that. Moving on. This leads us into Mariah May. she comes out. She says that Jaida Parker needs Mariah May. She knows that Jaida wants to paint this as some heated rivalry, but she felt like she got under her skin. She said no one can really steal her spotlight. She said that the biggest thing a woman can do is interrupt Mariah May because the glamour is perfectly poised. In NXT, she's the conversation, the controversy, the standard. And then when she breathes, people react. So she says Jaida Parker's just like all the girls on the back, begging for a chance, begging to be in the spotlight. But she's going to do a bit of charity. And she's going to share her spotlight with Jaida Parker at Vengeance Day. And she's going to walk straight through her to stand and deliver. So Jaida Parker shows up, gets a really good reaction. She told Mariah May that she clocked her. She said the only reason that the glamour exists is because insecurity does. So Jaida says that when she pops up, the temperature changes. Her presence is felt. And she doesn't need change relevancy. She's the definition of it. So she continues to jog jet back and forth. So Jaida tells Mariah to shut her soft ass up. And then she calls her a mediocre bitch. And then Mariah smacks Jaida. The two of them have a brawl. And then Jaida hits the hypnotic. So really good shit there. I do like this. It's interesting. Really pretty cool little feud there. I like it. Moving on. The Vanity Project. They catch up with Ethan Page and Ricky Saints. Ethan Page is dejected in the locker room. They didn't know that Ethan Page was getting himself into an impromptu rematch. They're preparing for their 6-man tag. Ethan Page said he needs some time to think. Ricky Saints tells the Vanity Project to focus on their match tonight, and Jackson Drake needs to focus on beating Cappuccino Jones at Secession 2 tomorrow night on Evolve. Ricky tells Ethan Page to cheer up because he's the greatest North American champion of all time. Ricky knows that Ethan Page will become champion again. Ricky says that he's going to be a two-time NXT champion at Vengeance Day. Ricky says that he needs to prep for the absolute experience. Ricky tells Ethan Page to hang in there. Okay, I like that. That's fine. All right. Moving on. This leads us into Ilya LaFleur. He's backstage with Eli Knight and Sean Legacy. They're talking about the state of the Speed Championship and Legacy's match with Keanu Carver. Jasper Troy shows up. Jasper Troy doesn't care about Keanu Carver. He's not a threat. Yeah, right. Jasper Troy says that he wants the Speed Championship back. Eli Knight tells Jasper Troy that the Speed title is more for guys like them that know a thing or two about speed. Josh Briggs says the young kids are right. Jasper Troy is no longer the best big man in NXT after losing to them last week. So Troy then lays down a challenge, a triple threat match to face both Sean Legacy and Eli Knight. And then he's coming after Ilya LaFleur to get his speed title back. Okay, that's fine. Who really gives a damn about Josh Briggs or Jasper Troy? I'm not a fan of either guy. I think NXT's big man really is going to go to Keanu Carver because he's the best that they got, really. Josh Briggs is just total ass, and Jasper Troy, he just needs some work. Again, he should be somebody's heavy. Moving on, this leads us into the Women's Speed Championship tournament. Nikita Lyons versus Ren Sinclair. Ren Sinclair wins via the submission. She taps out Nikita Lyons. Is Nikita Lyons, is she on the chopping block? Probably not. She's still fine and involved, so yeah. Moving on. So Joe Hendry, he runs into Myles Borne. From one champion to another, Joe Hendry says congratulations on becoming the new North American champion. He was glad to knock Ethan Page off his porch. Off his perch. Myles Borne loved the Chronicle special they did for Joe Hendry last week, as did I. He called it inspirational. Joe Hendry says that he's been through a lot in his life, but not more than Myles Borne has. Myles Borne said it's not all bad, because one of the good parts about being deaf is that he wanted to listen to Ricky Saint's absolute experience. Joe Hendry made a bad joke about saying he wished that he was deaf too. And then Myles Borne appreciates the respect and love from Joe Hendry. Okay, that's fine there. Moving on, this leads us into Kalani Jordan. She has a vignette. She's training with Shayna Baszler. So that's fine there. That's cool. I like that. Cool. Interesting. Moving on, this leads us into a back and forth between Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley. They're in the backstage area in a dark, dim lit room. It was like with neon lights, like blue and green and all that. Pretty cool. So basically, the short end of the whole thing is basically Izzy Dame's going to remind Tatum Paxley that she always needs people and everything, and that she's basically incapable of being fixed. She says that what Tatum is doing is just absolutely pathetic. So Tatum says that nothing lasts forever. This pain that you put her through, your manipulation, it's all temporary. It's all temporary. Just like when she was the NXT Women's Champion. She remembers winning that, thinking that it would be the best day of her entire life, but she was wrong. Nothing's going to be to beat the satisfaction when she is going to feel when she takes the freaking championship from Izzy Day at Vengeance Day. And then you'll understand that she was never meant to be played with. Okay, that's fine. I like that. Is she going to win? No, she's not. I got a feeling that she's going to get called up, that being Tatum Paxley. Moving on. This leads us into the six-man tag. So Charlotte Hill and Hank and Tank, they defeat the Vanity Project. I don't care about any of this shit. Whatever. Who cares? I don't. I forgot to mention Keanu Carver. He got involved in the match. He ended up kind of mouthing off to Booker T and everything else to tell his boy Jasper Troy to keep Keanu Carver's name out of his mouth. That was hilarious. I like that. That was hilarious. So I guess they're doing something between Jasper Troy and Keanu Carver. I like that, honestly. I really do. I think that's cool, if we're being honest. Again, Keanu Carver has more upside than Jasper Troy. Jasper Troy is just so green, and then not only that, it's just he's not intimidating, and then not only that, he should just be somebody's heavy, if we're being honest. Like, he's not ready. Moving on. So, Osiris Griffin, he's laid out backstage. He's claiming that Tony D'Angelo is the one who attacked him. So, Dark State, they're pissed at Robert Stone. And then Dion Lennox tells Robert Stone he needs to fix this right now. So, moving on from that, this leads us into Lola Vice. She has a stress fracture in her right hand. Her doctors are suggesting that she has surgery or she could risk being taken out of action for 6 months and have permanent damage. Lola says that she can't go away because she's got a lot of big opportunities coming her way. Lola says that she needs to be on stand and deliver. Lola signed a liability waiver so that she can compete in the underground match in NXT Vengeance Day. And then Lola plans on finally shutting up Kalani Jordan on Saturday. Okay, that's fine. Really cool there. So then Mariah May, she's out on the announce table. She challenges She challenges Jaida Parker to a street fight at Vengeance Day. And the two of them just brawl. Okay. That's fine there. That's cool. I like that. Good shit. Good shit there. Moving on. This leads us into Dion Lennox and Tony D'Angelo. They basically just have some words and everything else. Tony D'Angelo says he's going to hurt He's going to end Dark State, and he's going to hurt Deion Lennox. So, basically, Deion Lennox, he has his sights set on becoming NXT champion, basically. So, I do like that. He said it's going to be on site. So, when he steps foot on this damn property, he's going to be waiting for him, for his ass in the parking lot. It's going to be on site. He's not cool. He's going to be, he's going to get what's coming to him on Saturday. And so, Tony D'Angelo says that he's going to whip Deion Lennox's ass in the parking lot and drag his lifeless body into the ring and beat him in front of everybody, because on Saturday, one of the 2 reasons he came back to NXT will be completed. Okay, I like that. So it seems like Tony D'Angelo's second goal is probably going to be going after the NXT Championship, which to me is fine. That's okay there. Moving on, Jessie Jane cut a promo before her match. She really didn't say much of anything. She said that she's not really concerned about this Ruca Zaria stuff going on. So, you know, her main focus is just getting to stand and deliver. Moving on, this leads us into Myles Borne. He's giving Tavion Heights and Charlie Dempsey props for having him get where he is. So Myles Borne walks away. So basically, Tavion Heights and Charlie Dempsey, they're talking. Then, basically, Stacks and company, they show up. They're still trying to recruit Charlie Dempsey and everything else. And basically, Tavion says that Charlie Dempsey knows better to join this group of clowns. Ariana Grace tells Charlie Dempsey that all his friends have moved on from him. Maybe it's time for him to do the same thing. Okay, that's fine. I do like that too. I really do. Again, Charlie Dempsey eventually will join the faction, and then ultimately, maybe we'll see David Finlay show up. But he'll probably show up at Stand and Deliver versus Vengeance Day, and I think that'll make the most sense. But maybe they do a segment on Vengeance Day where Charlie does align with the faction, because it all makes sense if we're being honest, really and truthfully. It just makes sense. Moving on, this leads us into Zaria versus Jessie Jane for the NXT Women's Championship. That was thrown out because Ruca came out and got involved. The match was really solid. Both women got their finishers in. Zaria hit the spear, and Jessie Jane was able to hit the rolling encore. Both of them were laid out. So Ruca, she shows up, she beats up Fatal Influence, and then she goes into the ring, hits the double soul snatcher, kisses Zaria on the forehead, and calls her a bitch. So basically, we know this is going to be a triple threat match at some point, which is fine, I guess. Moving on, this leads us into Robert Stone. He had a backstage interview with Sarah Schreiber. Robert Stone says the NXT Women's the NXT Women's Division has not lived up to his standards as of late. So he's going to rectify that soon. All right, that's fine there. Whatever. Main event, closing segment of the evening. It was the concert that Ricky Saints did. He was just making fun of Joe Hendry, basically putting himself over. He says that he's a true thespian. He's a great actor. He's a great musician. He was just basically mocking Joe Hendry's theme song and everything else. Booker T was doing the same thing and laughing along with Ricky, which is kind of hilarious on commentary. Ricky just said a bunch of nonsense. Basically, it led into Joe Hendry showing up, being one of the production guys as a stagehand. Him and Ricky, they get into a brawl. The Vanity Project show up. Myles Borne and Joe Hendry, they show up and beat all the heels up. And then Joe Hendry and Myles Borne, they beat up the Vanity Project and Ricky Saints. And that was it. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Whatever. Whatever, who cares? All right. So NXT was, for the most part, okay. Let's get into the Vengeance Day predictions. It's 5 matches on the card. which is fine. So let's go with Tony D'Angelo versus Deion Lennox. Who needs to win this more? I want to say Tony D, because it seems like they are going to push Tony D kind of heavy, and so he does need this win. It would make no sense for Deion Lennox to lose. Maybe there could be something there with Deion being the one who may have attacked Osiris. I don't know. Who knows? But whatever. Moving on from that, Mariah May versus Jaida Parker street fight. I want to say maybe Mariah May wins this, basically. Because I don't see Jacy Jayne being champion too much longer. I think they probably want to put Mariah May in that main event scene. And I think she would be a great successor to Jacy Jayne, honestly. And I think that's what you do with her. I have no idea what you do with Miss Parker going forward. I love me some Miss Parker, but what do you do with her, really? What do you do? Kalani Jordan versus Lola Vice. NXT Underground match. This should be fun. Lola Vice needs to win this, obviously. Moving on. Tatum Paxley versus Izzy Dame. Women's NXT North American Championship. Izzy Dame is going to retain. Why would she lose? She just got the title not too long ago. Main event of the evening, Joe Hendry versus Ricky Saints for the NXT Championship. Joe Hendry is going to retain. So, NXT Vengeance Day should be pretty fun. Hopefully, we get some surprises. I'm hoping we do. We should. But it should be a fun time. Again, my predictions again, Tony D'Angelo will win. Mariah May will win the street fight. Lola Vice will win the NXT Underground match. Izzy Dame will retain the Women's North American Championship. And Joe Hendry will retain the NXT Championship. But what did you guys think of NXT? And what are your predictions for Stand and Deliver? Let me know. Like, comment,